Hey guys, how are you going? Okay, I hope everything's great in your world. It's so fantastic in mine. Now listen, I've got a story to tell you about how I manifested my RAV4. That was a few years back now, but this is how I manifested. This is before I met Vic. And I knew a little bit about law of attraction, but I hadn't met Abraham, hadn't understood it really fully. I just read The Secret, and the book The Secret is really like kindergarten. Can I say that? I don't know if I should say that, but it's a little bit like the introduction to law of attraction. There is a lot more, and that's why Esther Hicks and Abraham were taken out of the actual film of The Secret and was in the original few snippets of The Secret. And there's more on that. If you go to their website, you'll find out their information and why that happened. But it's because the truth was even more than just making money, things like that. It's more involved, and the public wasn't ready to hear it then. Things have moved on somewhat nowadays since 2012, when the Mayans said that it was the end of the world. What they were talking about then was more the consciousness. It's a different consciousness now. We're waking up. We're finally awake. We're finally working out who we are. And when you understand all this, you'll be able to create everything you want, be, do, or have whatever you want. It is really simple once you understand the laws. I'm still learning every single day. I still have my beautiful bits of contrast, which I totally accept and with passion. What happened was I was in Auckland, and I knew I had to make a change in my life. It was about 2010, 2011, and it was coming up to 2012, and I was very dissatisfied with my life, and I knew I had to move away from there. I was drinking quite a bit with friends and just drowning my sorrows. I wasn't happy. I didn't want to be drinking with all my friends, and the friends weren't serving me in any way. My head was saying no to this, and so I had to move on. I just had to make that actual conscious choice and that stand. So I moved down about an hour and a half away from Auckland, and I moved to a place called Hamilton and Te Awamutu out that way. That's actually where I first went. And I found a little place for myself, and I had a little old dunga car. At that time, prior to leaving Auckland, I was staying at my daughter's house, and I said to her that I was going to go down there and find a job, etc., etc. And I found a place already, so I'm going to move in. It cost X amount of dollars. I think it was $150 a week, and it was a little self-contained unit down there in a shed. It was a converted shed. And she goes, "Mum, you've got no money and you're going down in a dunga car. How are you going to survive? What have you got a job?" And I said, "No, not yet, but I'll get one." And she goes, "Oh my gosh," she thinks I'm loopy, and she always probably will until the day I pass over. Yes, well, my daughter and a couple of my other kids think that their mother has lost the marbles, but that's okay. That's where they're at, and that's where I'm at. Okay, my vibration is where I want it to be, and I'm consciously aware of it. So I went down I was about ready to leave Auckland, and I had all my furniture there from my previous house, so I was going to sell all that, so that was how I was going to make some money. I didn't have any money. And so I jumped in the car, and the night before, I think it was, I applied for this job, and then because I had made my commitment to go and move into this place for $150 a week, I even borrowed 2 weeks' rent from my son who's in the army. I borrowed $300. I had no money at all. And I went down there, but prior to going, like I said, I talked to my daughter, and she said all these things, and I said, she said, "You're going down in a dunga car. How's that going to keep you going? You know, the car's nearly falling to bits." And I said, "Oh, it's all right. I'll have a RAV4 by Christmas." She goes, What Christmas, Mum? Now, this was about November. Christmas. I was getting a little bit perturbed by all the questions, and I sort of said, no, I'll have a RAV4 by this Christmas. And because that's the car I wanted. I always wanted to have a little 2-door RAV4. And she said, oh yeah, whatever. And then that was that. So that was okay. Off I went. The next day I get a phone call and I'm on my way down, and some guy wanted to be picked up in Auckland. He said, look, I could give you a job, but I need to be picked up. My truck's gone down to back home. They've dropped me off in Auckland. I'm at the lawyers and I just need a ride back. Can I catch a ride back with you? You're going down to Te Awamutu today. And I said, yes, I am. So I just go with the flow. This is some stranger. I didn't know, but I knew it was okay. And he knew that I'd applied for this particular job, and he said, yes, you can have the job. Just over the phone, but can you come and pick me up? I'm in central Auckland. So I went back into town, picked him up, and then we drove down to Te Awamutu, and I dropped him off at his place, and I went back to my abode that night. And in our trip down there, we were discussing things, and basically he had a business that had like a circus things with blow-up castles, trucks, and did candy floss, all that sort of. It was a bit like a circus, you know, the sideshow type things, but more the everyday ones now with jumpy castles and things. So I got a job with him for the next 6 months. So Melissa rings me up one day while I was down there, and she said, Mum, are you okay? How's life? What's going on? I said, oh, yeah, I'm good. She said, have you got a job? And I said, yeah, I've got a job. And she said, well, what is it? I said, I've joined the circus. And she just cracked up. She thought I was having her on. And lo and behold, yep, Mum was a bloomin', what do they call them? So I was his driver as well. So I drove his really nice flash ute around the place and took him places, and then I also worked on these whirligig things, circus, you know, games and blow up castles, and I helped put them up. I was, you know, really going for it. So for 6 months I worked at that, and I was driving trucks as well. And so I was driving up to Auckland, taking up a truck with some equipment on the back and a big blow-up castle up to the speed racing up there, the car racing that was going on in Auckland. And I lent my car, my old Dunga car, to a crew. We needed crews to help man all these activities, these jumpy castles and that. And so I said, you need to put water in it because I think there's something wrong with the radiator. And I told the guys, because he's got a workshop there that looked after his own trucks and everything, and they worked on the cars and the trucks and everything that belonged to this business. And the boss said, look, go and get the boys to fix the radiator. And that was prior, but they didn't. So on the way up, I'm driving up. They'd already taken my car earlier with the crew, some of the crew. There was about 3 other cars plus my old car. And I see my car parked on the side of the highway. Empty, abandoned, just sitting there. And I went, oh my gosh, that's my car. And so I eventually go to this big event. We went to the venue. We did the whole day. We stayed overnight at a motel, then we all came back, and I said to my boss, that was my car on the side of the highway. And he says, oh look, don't worry about it, just get another one out of the get one out of the Trade Me and see what you like, and then I'll buy it for you and we'll work something out. And I went, oh okay. So I went scouting in the Trade Me ads, the auction sites, and then I found a RAV4, a lovely little red RAV4, and I thought, oh, that's a bit of me. So it was only a couple of grand, I think, 2, 4 or something like that. So I showed him, he says, yep, you go up and get it, here's the money, off you go. So off I went and bought it, and that was just before Christmas. And then I went up to my daughter's place and I drove up, parked outside her apartment in Mount Wellington in Auckland. And I said to her, oh, hi, happy Christmas. And she goes, whose car's that? I said, it's mine. She goes, "Oh my gosh, are you serious?" I said, "Yeah." And then I told her the story. That was a little bit of a manifestation story that my daughter just thought it was just good luck. But, you know, it's just a process. People who are ready for it, who want to understand it, will understand it. But we don't have to explain it to anybody now. We're not responsible for their learning. We're not responsible for where they're vibrating at. That's their stuff. We're all just different vibrating elements, just like the table's a vibrating element. Everything's vibrating. Everything is just an illusion. It's all an illusion. I'm an illusion. But you've manifested this vlog for you to understand certain aspects that you're going through right at this moment. So all these little manifestation stories, you'll start clicking onto it as well. I mean, not that you already are doing it, but making it clearer for you. As it's clearer for me, every time I tell these sorts of stories, I relate it to what I'm dealing with as part of contrast at the moment, and then it makes more sense to me, and I can get a better grip on it, a bit more solid in my standing and understanding and just allowing it all to unfold and just to let it all go, because you can't fix anything. You see what it is, the now, and now you know what the solution is, and that's what you focus on. You pivot to that and just think, right, the universe will sort it. Let it go. And then all the answers will come to you. Just like the car, I manifested that car. I manifested the Honda Odysseys you'll see in the other link down below. I'll leave a link about how we manifested a free car. All these manifestation stories are of interest. If you do want to subscribe, please do, and like it if you liked it. I really appreciate it. It helps me. I'm at home living the life, and I just love being with you guys and helping someone else understand the joy that I'm getting out of creating things. And I'll show you just my everyday things, even my plants, my food that I'm growing, the chickens that are going to lay eggs for us. The simple things in life are so much more enjoyable than buying the next gadget and then 5 minutes later you're bored with it. You know, growing your own food or making your own wooden thing, I don't know, anything you do, I don't know, what do you do? You know, what do you love? Do it. Even if you love singing, just sing. Just do whatever you want to do. Just loving life. I wrote a little thing, and I'm going to probably start saying it, and I wrote it down one day, and it was live life, love life, live for love. And I've made a couple of paintings of it too. So live life, love life, live to love. Okay? Love you guys. Thank you for joining me once again. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next vlog. Until then, bye for now.